G3 Board Game. Today we are going to be reviewing The Last Kingdom. It is a game that is based on the Netflix series by the same game. This is a competitive game where the Saxons are fighting the Danes, and you play as a character that's kind of switching sides to whoever you think is going to win, and going to places where you think that the battle is going to be won by one side or the other, and you use that to gain victory points for yourself.
Some of us were switching sides. Some of us were just collecting victory points.
Actually, my character...
And some of us... I don't really know.
My character actually was not allowed to switch sides. It was good because anytime I got into a situation where I had the option to switch that I couldn't take, I would get victory points instead. So I was able to build a little bit of an engine. We kind of thought that the King Alfred character that I played, because of that, was kind of OP, and I did end up winning with him, but it wasn't a blowout.
Yeah, it was. It was about like 15 points. That's a blowout.
No. How much did you...
I had 94. You had 108.
Okay, yeah. So
that's a blowout.
Okay, so you don't like the game. You think that King Alfred is OP and has kind of broken the game.
No, I was going to say really quick, I enjoy the game. I like the variety in it. I like there's a lot of strategy going on. You really have to think 2, 3, 4 moves ahead, especially since in this game, each of these regions are, one of them selected to be the current one that's being under conflict. And then you plan for what's going to happen in the future. So you really got to prepare what your cards, your action tokens, whatever it may be. You really have to plan far, far ahead. Now, the one thing I did notice, though, is, and I'm going to throw a quick negative in there, I don't think this game works at 3 players. And there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think you have the same reason.
No, you go ahead and finish your thought, and then...
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why, I had fun. I had a lot of fun in this game, but I think at 3 players, what can happen is, if 2 people are on one of the affiliations, Danes or Saxons, I think they just can hammer the other person, and it really doesn't give them much of a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you guys were both Danes, and I was the only Saxon. And
No, he kept flip-flopping.
I kept flip-flopping.
He was waffling the entire game.
And that's the thing about what goes on with the characters in this game, and I'm sure it's in the show as well. I haven't watched the show, but that's what my guy does. I have a specific card that does it, plus the thing over here I can switch multiple times, and it's not something you're allowed to do, and it's not something you did except in a very special circumstance.
Right.
And so that actually to me was the problem with my character. Your guy does this well. Your guy does that well. My guy does nothing well. And he's right in the center. And so it's a matter of trying to maneuver, okay, I'll take this side and get these points over here, then I'm going to flip and take these sides over here. And at the end of our playthrough, this side looked like it was going for the Danes, but I had cards to switch it. And it was more points for me because this was my highest affinity from there. So I flipped it, I moved some units in, Dave couldn't counter it, and so I got a good amount of victory points from there. Dave did switch. He got some victory points, and you got some. Mine wasn't enough to close the gap, and it took away Dave's chance to close the gap. So
I don't think that you necessarily have to think too far ahead. If your goal is to raise up the affinity, and you get, the higher you are, the more multipliers you get, based on how many of the winning guys are there. If that's your goal and that's how you're going to get your victory point, yes, you have to be thinking ahead. You have to start thinking about, okay, in the next conflict is happening over there, so I have to start planning ahead. Mine was kind of the opposite. Didn't use this at all.
So you beat us without thinking at all.
I was just looking for the...
Is your point.
Sort of. I was looking for the quick points. I didn't really have to think too far. I had to focus on what was happening right now, focus on where the quick points were in the market, where I could do something for, immediate victory points, where I could take guys off the board. I had a couple cards here with permanent effects that gave me victory points when people came off the board. I don't think I moved any of my affinities during the playthrough very much at all, because I didn't need to. That would take away from getting victory points in other places. But I think like Dave said, if your goal is to use this to get your victory point, yeah, you got to be thinking ahead.
And that was mainly because I'm supposed to be completely affiliated with the Danes. I have all these special abilities with the orange guys, the Danes. So I really had to plan ahead. Okay, can I get enough my troops, get enough of these regions I'm controlling to maximize my points?
I think that I happened to get these cards that built an engine that helped me get the quick points. If I didn't have these engine cards, then it would have been in my best interest to raise up all my, since I'm the super Saxon guy, to raise up all my Saxon affinities. Then I could have won that way. But I think I said early, well, not too early in the game, but I said I have my path to victory.
Yeah.
Because
I hate to say it like this, but with these cards in play, it was kind of like you're on like cruise control. Easy
it
mode.
was auto mode.
Kind of autopilot.
Autopilot.
But I'll echo what Dave said. I think this game would actually be. I did enjoy the game. I thought there were some clever mechanics involved here. I like that. I like the card. I like most games where you do card drafting. I like that you can play those cards, even if it's impacting stuff over here when you have a conflict over there. You're moving stuff around. And I did enjoy that, but I think the game would really shine at 5 people. I'd really like to try it at 5.
Yeah,
and see what happens. 5, right?
Yeah. I'd really like to see what happens. You have plenty of heroes to choose from. We use the starting heroes. I wouldn't use this guy. Again, I realize he's probably the star of the show, but in the game, I felt he was mediocre. Again, I'm running the middle of the road here, and middle of the road. What happens to you in the middle of the road? You get squished.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, that's right. Squished, just like that. I didn't realize that was. Oh my goodness, that movie influenced me somehow. But I did enjoy it. It had some interesting mechanics behind it that I think it. When you play a game that's affiliated with a property, you always wonder if it's a good game on its own without that property, or if it's only a game because of that property. And I thought this was interesting enough, property or no. I thought it had some interesting mechanics behind it. I think people who've played it a multitude of times can get it done a lot quicker than we possibly could. But I did enjoy it. I did.
Yeah, our playthrough took a little bit of time. It's a very simple game. Should be pretty quick. We were sort of fumbling our way through and explaining a lot of things that we were doing.
My turn went really fast because I had nothing to do. Blank, no problem.
I like that the game board it's relatively simple, and the game can take a little bit of time, but it just seems to go quick.
Yeah.
There's a few cards that are kind of confusing, and there's really no place at this point to get clarification
right
on them.
But I think we came up with a reasonable solution for what had happened.
Yeah.
Either way, the intent behind the card you played manifested itself in the result you wanted, and I think we came to a good compromise there. I think we played it right. So.
Yeah, if you're looking for a simple game, because I was just thinking now that in terms of complexity, if you've ever played the game Dune Imperium, that's a very complex game. There's a lot of mechanics that are similar to this. This is a very basic version of Dune Imperium. In Dune Imperium, there's worker placement, there's card manipulation, there's resource soak, but I still enjoy this game. I think you could, for your non-serious gamers, or even you're introducing a game to bring them into the hobby, I think this would be a decent one in terms of.
Yeah, it's a good entry into some strategy.
I don't think it's overly complex. I really don't.
I think that there's other games that.
There's other games, but this is the greatest game.
If I was going to choose if I'm going to try and introduce them to the hobby between this and Dune Imperium, I would choose this. And if somebody's never played a game,
I think some of the cards were a little. They took a half a second to understand. Read them, it's like, okay, I do this, then I do this, then I do that, then I do that.
But I thought they did a good job. I mean, they have little pictures and the arrows. That does help quite a bit.
I do need pictures to understand what I'm reading. Pictures help.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it. I think it's more than its property. I think it's more than just the name on the box.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I've never seen the Netflix show. I've never seen it before, but I enjoyed playing the game.
I kind of want to watch it now and find out how many times this guy switches sides. Happens at least once. Just a quick word on the materials here. I like the miniatures. I thought the minis are fairly well done. There's a bunch of them in the box.
Yes.
And not only that, on the cards that want you to play with minis, the pictures are right there. It's like, hey, go get this mini.
Even with the heroes.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many games I've played where it's like, go get this mini, and I don't know what mini it is.
Right.
You know, there was a Dungeons and Dragons game Dave and I were playing. And it's like, well, which one of these is the ghoul and which one's the zombie? I don't know.
It says on the bottom of the little figure.
In writing that you all know I can't read. Anyway, so it gives me the mini right there. And they're nice quality minis. You know, so I like those quite a bit. Even the armies they do their job, they're good enough. My only complaint about the components is the cards feel a little bit thin. You're definitely going to want to sleeve them, but the cards feel a little bit thin to me. They feel like they could bend and start to wear easy.
Yeah.
Other than that, they get some cardboard components that are made of good enough material. But no, components are good enough. And like I said, there's an abundance of minis in here. There's a lot in that box. There's got to be 20 minis in that box, which is a lot for a game like this.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's true.
I also enjoy that they did put stills from the TV show as the
yeah.
artwork. So
Yeah, if you're
If you're
going to have a property based on a show, just
Yeah.
use the show. Yeah.
smart.
Okay, so you know, we all enjoyed it. Some think it's a really good entry game. I don't know if it's the best entry game, but I think it's a fun game to play. I don't think you need to have watched the Netflix series
No,
to
not at all.
enjoy it.
None of us have watched it. Well, I think Dave said he watched some of it.
I watched a few episodes.
Does my guy switch sides?
I don't think I ever saw those episodes.
Must have been at the season cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All right, so we'd recommend that you go out and get this. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that.
Till next time.
Peace.
See ya.